Oh yeah, we split.
No, we have to.
Why did you do it?
Got any questions? Okay, what's up? Regular halftime, 15 minutes. That's when a 3-minute warm-up. Let's go team Archer. We're going to cut the case go right to 3 minutes. Yeah.
the game ball in for tonight's match. They are led by Emily Herman, followed by Takamazawa, Aurora Pokyu, Malachi Anderson, Andrew Siraki, Pankao Casada, Daniela Polaris, Teresa Neck, Levi Anderson. And for middle school, Lucas Madison, Henry Glam, Peyton Skoloski, Rachel Neiman, Caitlin Radu, Tanya Anderson, Addison Flynn, Azariah Huffman, Andy Richard, Caitlin Baumgartner, Paige Hunter, Jameson Glenn, and Sophie Schultz.
They've only got, 9.5 minutes. The 2021 Spencer High School Cross Country Team.
All right, welcome back. Another edition of Friday Night Football. The rain has cleared, and we are ready to have this newly anticipated non-conference matchup here tonight. Thanks for joining us here on Sports on Focus alongside my producer Neil Hodgen. I'm Matt Wenzel. Glad to bring you another edition of Friday Night Football on Sports on Focus. Tonight, we'll now pitch a makeup game now, as the Spencer Columbus Rockets will now take on Division VII powerhouse, the Bangor Cardinals, one of the more prolific, smaller schools in the state. 2 state titles since the 2014 season, along with another couple runner-ups. So this is a makeup game. Obviously, Spencer Columbus was supposed to play Nakusa, and Nakusa had to back out with a illness issue, I assume probably with COVID. Bangor also had to play Royal. I never know if it's Royal or Royale. It's kind of interesting, but they're in the same boat as Spencer Columbus. They had to kind of make up games, so these two teams will pit against each other. Bangor going up against a bigger Spencer Columbus team in terms of enrollment. So this should be an interesting matchup. Spencer Columbus coming off a tough loss to Amherst, which we had with Stephen Ockenick and Brett Butler on our call last week. I believe Spencer Columbus had that lead in the halftime, and Amherst, I believe, scored 2 or 3 touchdowns in the last 5-6 minutes of that game and kind of took a 2-touchdown lead. So Spencer Columbus trying to find that groove as we hit the halfway point now of the season, whereas Bangor comes into this game 4-0 and currently ranked number 1 in the Division 7 WIS Sports rankings. So in terms of new faces for the Bangor Cardinals, first-year coach Todd Grant is now at the helm. He took over for the recently resigned and prolific coach Rick Mullenberg, who was the one that won those 2 state titles, and one of the more prolific assistant coaches in the area, Kevin Kravick. Both those guys stepped down and led the way for Todd Grant, an Onalaska native, to take the helm of Bangor. Bangor, one of those teams that goes up against Edgar in playoffs, and Edgar kind of, it's like Edgar faces either Bangor or Blackhawk in the playoffs. It's one of those matchups where that's a team that Edgar struggles with, where usually, they kind of can go undefeated during the regular season, and they play one of those powerhouse teams from the southern part of the state, and that's kind of what happens. But, we're here for it. And when I heard this game was announced, I was pretty stoked. This is the first time I've got to see Bangor in person, nonetheless watching them on TV down in Madison. So this should be an interesting game. It's cool. It's about 47 degrees out. The rain has cleared. So it's pretty much your typical fall weather night for this evening. Homecoming as well here in Spencer, Wisconsin. So not the greatest weather conditions, but homecoming should bring out a lot in the Spencer Columbus student section tonight, as well as the football teams. So we should have some pregame and midgame festivities that we will also kind of show for everybody.
Yeah, it looks like a parent thing going on right now.
I'm sure they have. I mean, at least when I was in school, the parents would kind of help into some event, kind of like to get the football players all ready to go.
Yep.
And I'm not sure how they do it in Spencer compared to when I went to school in Medford, but usually you have like the class competitions and freshmen would go against seniors, and sophomores, juniors. So I would assume they might have some type of event.
Yeah, and maybe they'll line the parents up for a pregame football game, huh?
Absolutely. And while we're here in this pregame show, we'll kind of give just a quick schedule recap so far. Give our listeners here a quick preview. By the way, always, if you're wherever you're watching from, don't be afraid to let us know in the comments, and we'll try maybe give you a quick shout out at some point. For the Bangor Cardinals, the visiting Bangor Cardinals, they come into this game 4-0. With wins over New Lisbon last week, Necedah the week before, Hillsborough the week before that, and dating back to the season opener against Melrose Mindoro. Now, the last 2 weeks now, Neil, they've given up a combined 50 points in their last 2 games. So they're one of those smaller schools that does usually have an efficient defense. So maybe it's just kind of one of those stretches where they're trying to get things figured out. I mean, Bangor's one of those teams that they lose a lot every year, but they're also a team that reloads every year too. So maybe just trying to find a certain identity defensively. Offensively, they still average just about 40 points a game. And then in terms of Spencer Columbus, obviously, as we mentioned, they're coming off a loss to Amherst. So they're 3-3 so far. So I think they got to be one of the teams we've seen so far that has played most of their games so far.
I think some of those have been, well, I know this week they got a win by default for Nakusa not being able to field a team for this week. So I don't know if that factors into the, I believe it does on the schedule here.
I do believe it was a new rule. Yep. At least I know professional and college teams are doing that this year too, where if a team has to back out due to COVID, it would result in an automatic forfeit.
Mm-hmm.
Spencer Columbus currently, if you want to say not counting the default win against Nakusa, they would be 2-3 coming into this tonight's game, with wins against Glenwood City and Wyawega Fremont, and losses to three very solid teams in Colby, Wittenberg, Burnhamwood, and Amherst. Amherst, obviously, I think right now, I believe the number 2 ranked team in Division 5, whereas Colby is the number 2 team ranked in Division 6, right behind Eau Claire Regis. You know, we were talking pregame about Colby a little bit, as we've been kind of covering Colby throughout this year. Colby takes on Marathon tonight, but also next week takes on one of their probably biggest non-conference matchups they may have ever faced, against a really solid Hortonville Polar Bear team, which is newly in Division 1. So I think that could be an eye-opener for the Colby Hornets. Certainly would propel them, though, going into this year. If you haven't had a chance, you can go on onfocus.news/sports and check out our recently added Brent Jeske, Andrew Jeske, and Derek Jeske interview that was conducted by Stephen Okonik and Neil Hodgen, which gives a kind of story about the triplets, kind of how football has impacted them growing up, how they have kind of come together as a family. So it's a great story to check out. You can certainly go on our website and find that. But we're going to take a quick break as we are about ready for the national anthem and the starting lineups.
I had an employee at once ask me to prioritize family, faith, and business, and I put them in that order in particular. For each one of our employees, it's family first. You do what is best for you and your family. Then the rest of it will take care of itself. It's about making sure you make the best decisions for you and your family.
All right, and with that being said, we will turn it over to our PA announcer here for the national anthem and starting lineups.
Coaches and fans. To honor our flag and those that have given their lives to protecting our freedoms, please rise as you are able and remove your hats for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets echoing, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Sing the starting lineups for tonight's ball game. Number 4 is Ashton Micklick, senior, quarterback, defensive back. Number 10, a junior, running back, linebacker, Tanner Jones. Running back, linebacker, a sophomore, is number 21, Samuel Kropp. 44 is senior running back, defensive back, Gunnar Ellenberg. Number 33, Dawson Daines, is a senior running back for Maryland. Sam Horseman, a senior, offensive defensive line, number 52. Trevor Horseman, number 55, is a senior offensive and defensive lineman. Offensive defensive lineman, senior, number 66, Nick Barnett. Offensive and defensive lineman, number 68, is junior, Drew Larson. Playing in the offensive and defensive line, number 79, junior Clayton Palladini. And at tight end, linebacker, number 88, junior Dustin Pike. Cardinals are coached by Todd Grant. Tonight we'd like to publicly thank the parents of the SC football program. Thank you for your support, time, and effort you put into our program. You deserve good role models for these. You serve as good role models for these young men, and we want to thank you for the fine job you've done in raising them. As a symbol of unity, the SC football parents have chosen to be introduced not as individuals, but rather as a team. Here are the 2021 SC football parents. Tonight is one of the last regular season home games for our senior SC.
All right, so awesome introductions here for this highly anticipated matchup. And Neil, we're going to see a three-headed offensive weaponry here for the Bangor Cardinals tonight, as we'll see quarterback Ashton Mishek, as well as running backs Tanner Jones and Mathal Osterley. And if we do get any name pronunciations wrong for either team, feel free to drop it in the comment box to correctly pronounce us so we can have a better pronunciation for your favorite players. But currently so far between Osterley and Jones, they're so far about a combined 1,400 yards rushing between the two and 18 touchdowns on the year. So they don't pass as much. Ashton Mishek only about 18 passing attempts this year. So they're a team that likes to pound the run, kind of a similar team to what we see in the Edgar Wildcats. Spencer Columbus will run the ball a lot. You see Gorst there running the ball as well. If I'm not mistaken, the last game I was with Stephen Okonek, who is currently in Auburndale with the Auburndale Eagles and Abbotsford Falcons. You can find that game on focus.news/sports as well.
I think it'll be interesting to see how these two teams have prepared in such short notice. I mean, usually on Sunday you're watching, or Saturday you're watching film, Sunday, Friday night after the football game if you had a bad game or something maybe, but it'll be interesting to see if they are up to the task on a short week.
Absolutely. Not much time to scout for sure as a return for Bangor up the middle. And, of course, ourselves with the last-second matchup, as that return is by number 10, Tanner Jones, the junior. As I was saying, you know, with the makeup game, we didn't get a chance to prep ourselves for making sure we know who our statistical leaders are, so hopefully we'll get them consistently. But as I stated, Bangor has their three-headed offensive weaponry in Jones, Osterley, and Mishek. So Bangor will have that tight formation, very tight formation, almost like a quick flex wishbone. Hand up to the side, but he slips, gets up, and is taken out for a 2-yard run. Tanner Jones on the carry for the Cardinals. Todd Grant, first year at the helm for the Cardinals, takes over for the recently departed Rick Mullenberg, who, well, Mullenberg is still within the school district. He is still the principal at Bangor High School, or Bangor High School. As we currently see 2nd and 9. Bangor at their own 29-yard line. Same exact play again. A lot of hesitation and finally brought down on the near side for about a 5-6 yard run. Tanner Jones on the carry once again for the Cardinals. Cool, windy night here now as the rain has departed. Me and Neil, or I should say Neil and I, had to do a little bit of a setup readjustment as we have finally come outdoors as being in the booth.
The wind being so cold, I'm starting to regret that decision here, Matt.
We're Wisconsin kids, though. We got to be used to it by now.
Very true.
So 1st and 10. It was a first down. So same play, but other far side, and that's going to be number 21 Samuel Kropp on the handoff. Samuel Kropp, the sophomore, small, 5'6", 150 pounds. Kropp is, but certainly must have that agility and speed in Todd Grant's offense.
Yeah, maybe he'll be able to slip through some linemen and be able to find some holes tonight.
Absolutely, because I think any one of these Cardinal running backs can go for distance. Handoff up the middle. That's number 23. That's a first down on a long run for the Cardinals. Excuse me, that's 33, and that's Dawson Daines, the senior, into Rocket territory. 1st and 10 for the Cardinals. All the way down to the 24-yard line. If I'm not mistaken, that's about a 45-yard run. Clock keeps moving here. Three-headed running back for the backfield. Hand up to the right side, but is met by the defensive line for the Spencer Columbus Rockets, and that should be a loss of yardage. So a good response there for the Rocket defense after that big run by Dawson Daines. In fact, we didn't even mention Dawson Daines in the pregame along with Tanner Jones and Matthew Osterley. So 3-4 perfectly capable running backs of putting up damage. Explains why they're always one of the better teams in the state in terms of smaller schools. Handoff up the left side. Looks like Kropp. And he'll be brought down just around the 15-yard line. So far, the only ball carry we have not seen with a carry in this first 5 minutes of the first quarter is Matthew Osterley. Third and 2 now for the Cardinals at the 16-yard line. Hand off to the left side. That's Kropp again. And he should just squint past the first down line, and that will be a first down for the Cardinals.
You'll notice Bangor doesn't run any wide receivers. Everybody's in tight, and when the ball snaps, everybody's running towards the quarterback, and anybody can get the ball. So.
Absolutely, and Bangor's got size too, so that certainly helps those offense find holes for those running backs. Certainly what we didn't see in that Medford Rhinelander game last week.
Mm-hmm.
Handoff up the near side. That's number 10, Tanner Jones. Maybe a couple. About a 4-yard run. We'll get to the 8-yard line, and Bangor is closer to striking distance here early. Bangor coming off a win against New Lisbon last week and a 35-20 victory. Got some size in that Bangor line, though, Neil. A couple guys that are over 300 pounds. Handoffs to Kropp there up the middle. Maybe a couple yards, and he's finally pulled back by a slew of the Rocket defenders. If I'm not mistaken, I saw number 48, Nathan Rucker, as one of the Rockets on that play.
Yeah, for being a smaller school, normally you see smaller guys on the line because there's not a whole lot of kids to choose from, but Bangor has some monsters on that line. See if they can have their will with the Spencer defense tonight.
Spencer, the front seven for the Rockets, definitely have a challenge for them tonight. Pass there from Mishik to the left side, wide open to number 33, Dawson Daines. Touchdown, Cardinals. Nice little play action pass there from Ashton Mishek, the senior, to his fellow senior, Dawson Danes, and Bangor up right away.
It's a perfect example of having the pass game to complement the run game. When you're just running the ball, pounding it, and then you're able to dump it right over the defense who's up for the run.
And that's
easy
tough
score
for any defense to scout or even prepare against. And the extra point is up and is good. 7-0 here. Bangor here early. 7:35 left in the first quarter. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll see if the Rockets can counter their offensive possession. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Andrew from Northside Computers, here Cellular, and this is where I would put my iPhone 13s, if I could get them. Good news is, you guys still can. Right now, you can join our exclusive pre-sale offer and get $600 off the latest iPhone 13s. They come in 5 new colors, have a standard storage of 128 gigabytes, and right now, they are putting out the best camera system they've ever had to offer. So why don't you come on down to 907 South Central Avenue and get yourself a new iPhone.
Glenner Insurance of Northern Wisconsin is your qualified, experienced team for custom insurance packages for your vehicle, your home, and your family. At Glenner Insurance, protecting your family is our top priority.
Glenner Insurance.
7-0 Bangor here early after a 8-yard pass from Ashton Mishek to Dawson Danes, as Bangor's first possession turns into an early touchdown. And we will see here if the Spencer Columbus Rockets can respond. One player that has caught my eye early, though, that first game when I got to cover them against Glenwood City, is Brock Bennington. So we'll see. Oh, and it slips past the kick return number 4, but gets past Aller, but that rolls out of bounds. That's going to be an illegal procedure on the Cardinals. Brock Bennington, the senior, really impressed me that first game by his ability to stay up on his 2 feet while running the ball. It was a very tough bring down for that Glenwood City defense. And we'll see also Cole Timler, the quarterback, see what he can do to get things going. Will Gorst and Brock Bennington, the two-headed running back duo for the Rockets, will have a lot of work to do against this very large front seven for the Cardinals. And the Rockets will start out in I formation here. 2 tight ends, 1 out far right. In motion is Adler. And there's going to be a false start on, then that's Will Gorst, who jumped early, the running back. And that will go 1st and 15 for the Rockets. So that ball will be back to the 30-yard line. Being outside, you might hear some wind in our microphones. We're kind of hoping as this game moves along that the rest of the end of that storm cell that just came through in the last 2 hours will finally take the wind with it. So our official scoreboard says 1st and 10, but it should be 1st and 15, ball at the 30-yard line. The Rockets coming in that same formation. Adler in motion, and Adler will get the hand to the left side. He goes quickly, he found room, breaks the tackle to the near side, and he's finally brought down in the Cardinals territory. Very solid run to start the possession for Zane Adler, all the way down to the Bangor 44-yard line, 43 to be exact. And that should be a 35-yard run for Adler. Timler back in motion is number 5, Bennington, and Bennington will, a handoff up the middle on a dive play, about 5 yards. So Gorst on the carry. The Rockets, one of those teams, can have 2 guys like Adler and Bennington for some speed, whereas you have Gorst mainly for power. So 2nd and 7, 3-yard run for Gorst. About 6:45 left here in the first quarter. Bennington in motion. Will get the toss. Cuts back middle. Solid run there for Bennington, and he will get the first down. Brock Bennington, as I stated, one player that really impressed me in their season opener versus Glenwood City. Has big shoes to fill, obviously, with Eden Jacobson recently graduated now for the Rockets. Jacobson, the main running back in Coach Gorst's offense from last year. So 1st and 10 for the Rockets. The official scoreboard is run in terms of yardage, but they look to be at about the 32-yard line as Bennington goes in motion and then goes back. And that's number 4, Adler, who came in motion from the far side, will get to about the 27-yard line, and that will bring up 2nd down. Neil, any predictions for Wisconsin, Notre Dame tomorrow?
I don't know. I think Wisconsin's going to have their hands full. They obviously struggled with Penn State offensively in the first game. We know their defense is going to show up, but we'll see offensively.
I actually had the privilege of working with Jim Leonard's uncle.
Oh, really?
At my full-time job.
There we go.
Try to get the inside scoop now and then. In motion is Adler again, but the carry will go up to Gorst in the middle. So the Cardinal defense, obviously, with their hands full here early, with Coach Jason Gorst's offense. And it's going to be, Gorst's carry is going to be just short of a first down, 3rd and 1. Ball is placed at the Bangor 24-yard line. A lot of fans here for a cold, windy, rainy night for homecoming. Bennington in motion. He will get that carry, cuts back, evades a tackler. He's still on his feet, and he broke another tackle at the end. He's going to get into the end zone for a Rocket touchdown. 24-yard run for Brock Bennington, and the Rockets have a chance to either tie or take the lead. That's an example, Neil, of what I saw the last time I saw the Rockets play. Bennington's ability to not want to go down, kind of like what we saw with Caden Neary last week in the Rhinelander-Medford game.
I was just going to say that. He looks eerily similar in that you're going to have to send multiple tacklers at him. He's not going down by himself or with one guy just arm tackling him. So.
And they're going to actually have to convert on those tackles too, which we saw Medford's defense didn't really do as we thought we were going to see.
Mm-hmm.
And the kick is up for Bennington, and the PAT is good, and we are tied. Well, we could be in for a thriller here, Neil, as we're tied here with about 5 minutes and 8 seconds in the first quarter. We will take a quick break with them. We come back. We'll see if the Cardinals can respond. Dropped into the end zone, and that will be a touchback as we're getting a couple things figured out here. So a solid kickoff there for the Rockets, and the Cardinals will take over. 1st and 10. Both teams that can really perform well defensively might be in a offensive matchup this game here too. But as we were talking before about the Notre Dame-Wisconsin matchup, I actually almost had the opportunity to go to the game down at Soldier Field. So ended up, just kind of fixing some things and staying back. But I think if Wisconsin will have to get their things together offensively, so it'll be interesting.
Absolutely.
So 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line for the Cardinals. Hand up here on the near side. Couple yards and will be brought down. So that carry will go to number 10, Tanner Jones. As we said, this is a makeup game as we didn't get much time to prep, so there is a chance that maybe Matthew Osterley is maybe hurt and is not available to play. As we just kind of went off our stats to prep last second on Wiz Sports, as he is currently the Cardinals' leading rusher. Handoff on the far side. About 4 or 5 yards run. That looks to be number 21, Samuel Kropp. And that should bring up 3rd and 3 now for the Cardinals.
Yeah, crucial 3rd down here. The Rockets spent a lot of time on defense on the last drive, so they'd like to get off the field here.
Absolutely, keep those legs fresh and get ready for the next possession, as a lot of these guys are two-way players. Cardinals, hand off to the left side, explodes, and is met by a few different Rockets. I want to say that's going to be just short of a 1st down.
Oh, they're going to move them.
As Tanner Jones on the carry, and yes, correct, Neil, as they will give the Cardinals a 1st down. Awfully close from our angle, as we're more of at a diagonal angle from the play. So the Rockets defense will now have to reset. Misdirection there up the middle. A few yards there, and that will be about it. Ball came out there late, but right away it was marked down by the side judge. Dawson Danes on the carry for the Cardinals. 1 yard carry, 2nd and 9. Ball at the 31-yard line for the Cardinals.
Outside of that big run that they broke on their first drive, the up the middle hasn't really worked very well. So Spencer doing a nice job crashing down on those running lanes in the middle.
Absolutely. Cardinals handoff up to the left side. Oh, hard hit by the Rockets defense. There was an explosion on the carry by number 21, Samuel Kropp. I couldn't tell exactly who was on the tackle. In fact, there was a double gain tackle there for the Rockets. Spencer Columbus next week will be here again against Manawa and has 2 tough games to close out the season in the Stratford Tigers and Shiocton. Always a tough conference opponent now in the newly CWC for Spencer Columbus and Stratford. Pitch to the right side to Tanner Jones. He cuts back, hurdles a guy, still on his feet, and he's finally brought down just short of midfield. Ball came out, but they are going to mark it down. As Jones is down to the play and will get a quick attendant to. It was a very solid run by Jones. The way his footwork, his agility, his speed, a whole and he's only a junior too. So you got to think, you look down in Bangor's conference, they got to deal with him for another year yet.
Want to take a quick break? Unless you got something to talk about.
I was just going to give a quick preview. So as I said, Spencer Columbus goes and will take on Manawa next week.
Yep.
Bangor will take on Luther next week as they are down to their last 3 games. Actually, as Trent Jones just gets up. But so you're at a point though, Neil, and you got a few games left here in the regular. It's kind of weird how fast this season has gone. I feel like we just got done premiering our season opener of high school football, and we're 3 games left. It's kind of gone fast, but now at this stretch, it's kind of a crucial stretch now this year. I mean, you got a few tough games to close off. You got to have a good ride of momentum going into playoffs. So, I mean, these teams do have a lot on the line though as they get to this down stretch.
Absolutely, and that's what we were talking about earlier with Colby playing Hortonville. It's kind of like a playoff tune-up because once you get into playoffs, there's not going to be any cupcake games. You're going to have to work for everything you're going to get.
Yep, and it's not going to get any easier for any team at this point. Hand off the crop to the left side. Met by the far side of the Spencer defensive line. Might have got a yard, and that will bring second down. So 1 yard run will get the ball to midfield for the Cardinals. When you always get to level 3 or level 4 in the playoffs, you kind of anticipate Bangor playing Edgar or even Blackhawk, depending on how the pairings are, as a snap to the near side for Jones. He's hit hard by number 10 for the Rockets and number 54, that's Cole Timler and Carson Schmidt. Nice play for those two for the Rockets. No gain. Actually, I think our officials will be generous here and give them that extra yard. So it's going to be 3rd and 8, and Bangor with a big third down.
They might be content just to run out the rest of the quarter here, and they're already on the 50, so flipping sides won't be hard. Short little flip to the other side of the ball, and we'll be good.
Absolutely, as we're down to the last 7-8 seconds, I should say 4 seconds. And that will conclude the first quarter. We're tied here, Neil, in a thriller between two usually solid teams in football. Division 5 and Division 7. Division 5, the Rockets. Division 7, Bangor. With that being said, we'll take a quick break with them. We come back, we'll see if Bangor can open the doors here in this possession. That being said, Tyler, we're tied. Stay with us.
If your path to achieving your hopes and dreams is less than clear, Meyer & Associates provides the direction and guidance that helps put things into focus. We provide financial advice and customized solutions that help take the uncertainty out of your dreams for today and the future.
We can work together to make an honest assessment, understand your options, commit to a plan, live life brilliantly. Our team is here to help.
Second quarter action here in Spencer, Wisconsin. We're tied at 7 apiece. Bangor, the number 1 ranked team in Division 7, coming all the way up here. Both teams in a makeup game. Bangor was originally supposed to play Royal, and the Rockets were originally supposed to play Nakusa. It's 3rd and 1 here, or excuse me, 3rd and 8. Big opportunity for the Rocket defense. Back to passes Mishek. The southpaw is hit as he's thrown. The ball is loose and picked up by the Rockets at the 48-yard line. I think the officials are going to mark that as incomplete and not a fumble. And that's what they are going to do.
There is a flag on the play as well.
Absolutely. But it's a chop block on the Cardinals, so regardless, that penalty is declined, and that will bring up 4th down for the Cardinals. That was a big-time play from that far side on that line. I wasn't exactly looking at who made the hit on Mishek.
Wow, it looks like they did give Spencer the ball.
Oh, they did? Wow.
Yep.
I thought they actually marked it that Mishek's arm was going forward as an incomplete pass. So
That's
now the
what it looked
Rockets,
like,
that's a big play. The Rockets will now start at the Cardinal 48-yard line, 1st and 10, coming off a Brock Bennington 24-yard touchdown run their last possession. As Bennington goes in motion. Oh, the snap was bobbled, but got into the hands of Gorst, and that's going to result in a loss of a couple yards. Great hands by Gorst to hold on to that one. It was a tough snap from Timler to Gorst. It could have been a lot worse than what it was.
We've seen a lot of that so far tonight. We've seen a couple times where Bangor has been tackled and the ball squirted out at the end, but a lot of issues handling the ball with this wet field right now.
Yep, and the cold doesn't do any good either for these guys, so they got a couple of the nature's elements going against them.
Yep. First real experience with the cold this season.
So 2nd and 12 here for the Rockets. Bennington onto the far side. He quickly explodes off the line and evades a couple guys and is brought down at about the 44-yard line. So a nice run again from Brock Bennington. They're going to give Bennington 6 yards on that carry, 3rd and 6. And we'll see if the Rockets can convert on 3rd down here. As over the course of the game, Neil and I will try to give score updates from other local action. Adler in motion. He will get the carry on the near side. He broke through again, and now he's past the 30. I should say Bennington, gets all the way down to the 21. Brock Bennington's elusiveness is probably going to, I would say Bennington at this point has got about 75 or 80 yards already. Has been slicing through that Cardinal front 7. And now it's 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line. Red zone territory now for the Rockets. Momentum going their way, and they can look to take that one possession lead. Bennington will go motion, but 2 guys on the Spencer Columbus line leave early, and that's going to be a false start. So that ball will come back to the 26-yard line. 1st and 15 now for the Rockets. I believe that is their second penalty this game.
Normally coaches put that in to just see if they can get some cheap yards from the defense, but right now it is backfiring.
I suppose, even the wind may or may not be the biggest factor in being able to hear Timler's snap count.
Yeah. Well, it's a big night. It's homecoming night. Nerves might be a little bit too, or they just want to get fired up and fired off the line.
So the Rockets will try again here. Bennington in motion. Handoff up to Gorst to the middle, and he's brought down in the backfield. Number 33 and 52 for the Cardinals. That's number 33 is Dawson Daines. 52 Sam Horseman there on the play. Both seniors with a big play there for the Bangor Cardinals, and that's kind of something that can maybe get the Cardinal defense back going. As we stated, they've given up 50 points these last 2 games they've had. 2nd and 17 now for the Rockets. In motion. Bennington again, he explodes. Runs over another guy, breaks another tackle. He's still on his feet. Unreal run from Brock Bennington, and he's down to the 5-yard line. 1st and goal for the Rockets. Every time he touches that ball, Neil, you expect him to at least get that 1st down and more.
At this point, if you're giving the ball to somebody else, it's purely just to keep the defense on their toes, because he has been the most effective runner for both sides so far.
I mean, just the way he explodes right after the carry. He's looking to go explosive, even if the hole's not there. He's looking to make his own path, trying to get that touchdown. His demeanor has been incredible. 1st and goal at the 4-yard line. In motion, Bennington with the handoff up the middle to Will Gorst. Touchdown, Rockets. Will Gorst on the handoff for the touchdown, as the Rockets will take the 13-7 lead over the number 1 team in Division 7. Bangor started this game off with a touchdown right off the bat on an Ashton Mishek pass to Dawson Daines. Brock Bennington then responded for a touchdown to tie the game up, and now Will Gorst puts this Rocket team ahead. Brock Bennington will now kick the extra point attempt. Kick is up, and the kick is no good. Hard from our angle to see how efficient that kick is, but the extra point is no good, so the score will stay 13-7. And we will take a quick break. We come back, we'll see if the Bangor Cardinals can make a response on this Rockets team. Stay with us.
First date? We get it. Extra snacks? We get it. Big purchase? We get it. Spend your money your way with a checking account from Prevail Bank.
Four-yard touchdown run by Will Gorst propels the Rockets ahead of the number 1 team in Division 7. Rockets currently holding a 13-7 lead. Point after that Gorst touchdown was no good.
We saw this last week where the Rockets jumped out to against a ranked team, so jumped out to a lead, and so we'll have to see if they can sustain it this week. Last week, not so lucky, but.
And that's one of those things that you notice, and it's not just the high school level, it's any level. One team takes that lead, and you kind of have like that sense of urgency that you have to score to either keep it within one possession. So there's a lot more on the line defensively, because it's one of those things you get down 2 possessions, and it's a big hole, even in any level. And Bennington will kick off. Onside kick. Oh, it fun backwards! The Rockets recover! Wow, I have not ever seen a kick like that. Onside kick hit the ground and came back.
Do you think that was intentional?
I don't think so, because the way the ball went, he still kicked it forward, but the ball just naturally came back.
It hit a Bangor player.
Did it really?
Yeah, it hit him
I
in
guess
the
from
shin.
my angle, from where because I'm a little over to the side, I thought it hit the ground, like the pointed end hit the ground, and then just kind of spun back. If it hit the Bangor offensive line, or excuse me, the Bangor returner, that's just bad luck.
Oh, absolutely.
So 1st and 10 at midfield now for the Rockets. Momentum just going their way. Play action. Timler doesn't find a guy. He's going to take it and scramble himself, but he finally throws to Gorst over the middle. He's got a first down and is brought down at the 36-yard line. Number 16 for the Cardinals, that's Clayton Liga on the tackle. And the Rockets will continue to thrive in this quarter. All momentum has shifted toward the Spencer Columbus Rockets right now, looking to give the Bangor Cardinals their first loss of the season after a tough loss themselves to Amherst last Friday. In motion now, that's number 4, Adler, and he will get the carry, finds a couple yards, and it takes about 4 Cardinals to take him down. I see number 88, number 33 for the Cardinals, 33 Dawson Danes, and number 88 Dustin McDonald on that play. I will say though, Bangor does have some good game tackling, but when it comes to Brock Bennington, they're going to have to almost take another step up in terms of that part of their game. Mm-hmm. So 2nd and 8. At the 34-yard line. Handoff to Gorst up the middle. He explodes himself, just bullying his way. He gets another first down. At the 20-yard line, Spencer will start red zone territory for the Rockets.
Yeah, and we've got the Spencer sideline right in front of us, and when you get a hit like that where you're running a guy over, that just fires the whole sideline up.
I think it's also, another thing is, I think it's one of those games where homecoming really kind of, all week they do homecoming festivities. I think there's just a lot of momentum, a lot of just ways to get these guys pumped up going into that Friday night homecoming game. Bennington in motion will get the handoff on the near side, and he's taken down. About a 2-yard carry, and a flag comes in late. Number 68 for the Cardinals, that's Jonah Larson on the tackle, and that play will be coming back. So a holding call on the Rockets. We'll take that play back. Second or third penalty unofficially, from what I've counted. Usually I kind of have my notebook alongside me, trying to keep with little stats I can keep track of, but it's windy, it's cold.
The hands aren't working right, yep.
The can's got to stay in the pockets or making the adjustments as we need to for our stream. So 1st and 22, Bennington in motion to the far side, but the misdirection will come back to Adler. And not much of a confusion, though, for the Cardinals defense, as they will maybe let Adler go for 1 or 2 yards. So 2nd down now for the Rockets.
Nothing stalls out a drive like a holding call, so let's see if the Rockets can rebound from that call.
Penalties like that, as well as turnovers, are just big killers, especially if you're driving as the Rockets have been. So being able to convert and capitalize on coming back from it's always a big component for any team. As Bennington goes motion on the far side, looking for another guy. Stiff arms one guy. He's still on his feet to the far side. There's a flag, and he's finally pushed out of bounds at about the 10. But there is a flag, of course, and we'll see if it comes back or not. I think it's going to be on the Rockets again. As the ref is trying to get the call, but the huddle's in the way.
I think it's a sideline warning.
Oh, okay. I was going to say because it came right in the middle of the play. So if there was something that was said, it was obviously during the play. And you can tell, though, after a lot of these plays, though, there is a little kind of hands being pushed back and forth between teams. So, you know, two teams that have consistent success on the football field. We've seen that, though, in the Edgar Colby game. You know, frustrations can kind of get the best of teams.
Well, that might have been a case where the ref was running down the sideline to keep up with the play and just ran into somebody, too. So
that's also true. Maybe somebody was also past the 25 as the handoff on the near side. That's Bennington. He still stays on his feet. He refuses to go down and finally is brought down at about the 6.
Huh.
So that'll be a first down for the Rockets. First and goal to be exact, as we pass the 5-minute and 40-second mark here of the second quarter. So I should say first and goal at the 6-yard line. Spencer Columbus could take a 2-possession lead right here. Whether it's been Bennington or Gorst or Adler, they've been making it tough for this Bangor defense to really find a footing on their defensive possession. Adler goes in motion, and he will get the carry to the far side, but runs into a couple Bangor defenders, and he is not going to find much. If anything, it might be a loss of 1 or 2. You know, with it being cold, though, it is nice to have that true fall football weather.
It's true. It's not fall without the cold.
I mean, being from Medford, I do remember when Spencer Columbus came up for a level 4 playoff game. It was either level 3 or level 4 in Medford. For Stratford, it was snowing. It was about 10 degrees. It was very hard to even be outside, let alone watching a football game. Handoff out the middle to Gorst. Maybe a couple. And he will be brought down. So third down now for the Rockets. 3rd and 6. It'll be interesting, though, if the Cardinals do make a stop here on 4th down. They are in pretty much extra point territory, so, I mean, let alone it would be, do you go for it, or do you maybe let Brock Bennington kick a field goal?
Absolutely, yeah. I think 3rd down is Brock Bennington's money down, so we'll see if they give him the ball here.
Adler motion, but then goes back. We've seen that before. Now Bennington comes in motion, and that's his carry. Cuts back, sneaks through, and he's going to be brought down just past the 5, maybe to the 4-yard line. And that will be 4th down, and I do hear Coach Gorst call field goal. So 4th and goal, ball at the 4-yard line, and they will have Brock Bennington kick a field goal. This is pretty much your money play from extra point range.
Yep.
Not many times you do see field goals at the high school level, unless you're down playing, unless you're watching a Division I or even a Division II team play. Kick is up, and that kick is good. So the first field goal I've seen all season pushes Spencer Columbus's lead to 9. So, hey, that's as solid of a finish as anything if you're not going to be able to convert from a touchdown. So with 3 minutes and 5 seconds left of the second quarter, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll see if Bangor's offense can respond to Spencer Columbus's 2 straight strikes. So with the score, Spencer Columbus 16, Bangor 7.
I'm former professional football player Bill Ferrario, and I had a career protecting quarterbacks in Green Bay and Madison. Now, when I need protection, I turn to the professionals at Marshfield Insurance. They help protect my home, auto, and business from disaster. With over 30 A-rated insurance companies to choose from and 24 agents, they're conditioned to give you great coverage at great rates. Plus, I keep them in tip-top shape. Let's go, premium boy.
It's really necessary.
No, but it sure is fun.
You don't have to postpone
Even when I
feeling your
Bluetooth
best.
my AirPods
Aspirus
to
has
the
all the
computer, I
right
couldn't hear
protective
it.
measures in
So,
place, so
when I
there's
had
no
my
need to
headphones
delay
in the
important screenings and
port here,
procedures.
at Kobe
Visit
volleyball.
aspirus.org to schedule
hear the
today.
commercials, but I
Because
couldn't
we
hear the,
love, we lead.
Oh, that's what it
Aspirus.
is. Yep, it's
Yeah.
yep, other way around. Yep. Coming back right about.
It's ready. I think it's our mic volume. 16-7, Spencer Columbus with a 9-point lead over the Cardinals of Bangor. Bangor, the #1 rated team in Division 7. I know they are the #1 team in the WIS Sports poll in terms of the WIAA poll, where you have small, medium, and large teams. They're for sure top 2 in the small division. Not sure if they're 1 or 2. So a big kick by Bennington will go. Bounce into the backfield. Looks like Jones will pick it up. Look to go to work. Spins, misses one tackler, and will be brought down to about the 25-yard line. I think Bangor's got to find a couple big plays just to kind of open things up and kind of rebuild that momentum that they had from that first possession.
Yeah, I would say it's tough being off the field for so long if you're on offense, just because of the onside kick situation. But yeah, we'll see if they can crank that run game up once again.
They certainly have the weapons and the capability to do it. Toss to the left side to Jones. He cuts back. He's, like Bennington, a tough man to bring down. And he will be brought down at about the 28-yard line. So they will give Jones 4 yards on that carry, 2nd and 6. Bangor at their own 29-yard line. They will look to go to work again. Haniff is on the near side here. Looks like Samuel Kropp on the carry, and he will maybe get a couple yards, and that will bring up 3rd down. I would probably assume that Mathel Osterley is injured tonight, or just not unable to play, as looking in the statistics that he is currently Bangor's leading rusher, but we have not seen him on the field tonight. So 3rd and 4, though. Bangor can really use this conversion just to keep things going. But they're going a little conservative here, so maybe they're looking to kind of end the clock out here. Hannah up the middle. And is met by at least 6 different Rocket defenders, and that's going to bring up 4th down. So Tanner Jones, not much room there on the carry. 4th and 1 on the scoreboard, but it's actually more about like 4th and 3. 4th and 2. Minute and 20 now, almost ready to stroll past here in the 2nd quarter.
I think they're going to run it all the way down and call a timeout here.
Now, Bangor did receive to start the game, so they will obviously kick off the second half. So that's a big, as they will call timeout, but that's big, though, for the Bangor defense, because that defense does really have to make a step up to evade that 3-possession lead by the Rockets.
Absolutely.
So we'll take a quick break alongside with them. When we come back, we'll see if Bangor can maybe strike within this last 1 minute and 3 seconds. Spencer Columbus 16, Bangor 7.
At Northside Computers US Cellular, we have a brand new Galaxy S21 line of phones, including the Galaxy S21, S21 Plus, and S21 Ultra, all featuring fantastic cameras and great displays. Now, upgrade your phone and get up to $400 off select Samsung devices. Stop in at Northside Computers today for more information.
All right, welcome back. 1:03 left here, late in the first half. Bangor looking to convert here on 4th and 2. Handoff at the middle to Tanner Jones. He explodes through and gets past the 40 And Bangor will convert on 4th down. Can you imagine though Bangor didn't convert there and Spencer Columbus has 2 chances, especially with the way Brock Bennington is carrying the ball?
Well, that's why they were trying to run the clock out so Spencer didn't have time, even if they didn't convert.
Play action on Mishek, and it's caught down the field, and he's gone! Number 88, Dustin McDonald with the touchdown. 48 seconds left here in the second quarter. That is a huge play from the Bangor Cardinals. Wow.
Spencer defense was crowding the line once again, expecting a Jones run, and instead the quarterback went over the top and found his man in single coverage.
Spencer Columbus had most everything going their way here in the second quarter on both sides of the ball, and McDonald kind of broke open the junior tight end for the Cardinals, and we're going to get a timeout here on the PAT attempt by Bangor, as we'll keep it here for now. That's, I mean, any play like that is huge. You get those big plays. That was about a 60-yard pass. And especially at this time of the quarter or in the half in general, that's a big play, especially with the way Spencer Columbus has offensively has just been kind of going on this Bangor defense. That's just a huge response by the Cardinals. That's what they needed.
Absolutely, yep. And the thing the Spencer Rockets have going for them, or Spencer Columbus Rockets have going for them, is that they're going to go into halftime now with the lead against this Bangor team who they know is very good. So they'll get the ball to start the second half. They'll get to regroup at halftime and come up with a game plan that'll help lead them to victory here.
That's and if you're Spencer Columbus, that's one thing, because usually what I've seen, and it's not just football at any level, it's not just basketball, you see where teams that can strike big plays, any type of big play, any type of score, can really give that team the momentum going into the next half. Because now Spencer Columbus obviously receives the next half, and Bangor doesn't score that, and Spencer Columbus scores on the first drive in the third quarter. That's even a bigger gap and a bigger hole for Bangor to get out of. I mean, that's a big response by the Cardinals to keep this game alive for them. Handoff out the middle to Tanner Jones for the 2-point conversion, and that is good. Bangor now within 1 of the Spencer Columbus Rockets. What a game in this cold fall night. We'll take a quick break with 48 seconds left of the second quarter. Spencer Columbus 16, Bangor 15. So unofficially, that was a 60-yard pass from Ashton Mishek to Dustin McDonald. So the second touchdown pass of the game for Mishek. As we even stated before, he only came into this game with 18 passing attempts, and he's got he's 2 for 2 tonight with 2 touchdowns. And the kick by number 5, Braden Glasspool. Or I should say, excuse me, number 6, Sam Crenshaw. Spencer Columbus will take it up to about the 30-yard line, and we'll see what Coach Scorse decides to do. If he just decides to maybe just run one play here, as we have about 40 seconds left of the second quarter. Spencer Columbus on their own 30-yard line. I would probably not think that they're going to try to shoot for a touchdown here. They probably would have to go at least empty backfield.
Yeah, I don't think you take a knee here, but you definitely give it to Brock Bennington, see if he can make something happen.
And you never know the way he has been running the ball. He could
break one
easily
off.
break one in the secondary and take off, as you just said. Well, Timler will look to get things going. Adler in motion to the left side. Timler will roll out to his right. He will throw downfield, and he's, tripped. I can't tell who that was because his shirt's kind of rolled up a little bit. I think it's number 24. Chase Wirtz, the tight end, Word slipped at about midfield, and luckily enough, he did overthrow the 3 guys from the Bangor secondary that were right there. Could have easily intercepted that ball and could have been some dangerous precedents for that Rocket team. So 2nd and 10 now, the Rockets. 34 seconds left here. Adler in motion. Timler will drop back to pass again. He will go down long, and he's got his man, but it's incomplete, almost intercepted by number 24, Gunnar Ellenberg. Pass was intended, I believe, for Brock Bennington. And that will bring up 3rd down. I believe coming into this game, Cole Timler only had about 14 passing attempts. So he's currently 0 for 2 right now. 3rd and 10, 27 seconds on the clock. Only 7 come off from the last play. Timler, a hand up the middle to Will Gorse. And a nice run by Gorse, and he's going to be awfully close. Yep, and he will get marked for a 1st down, but the Rockets will take a quick timeout.
They had 3 of them, and you can't take them with you, so yeah.
Might as well see how far they can get, and maybe can get a good setup play for Bennington to break free. 22 seconds left. We'll just keep it here. But overall thoughts so far, I'd say this is a very exciting game. And when I found out that Bangor was the makeup team for Spencer Columbus and vice versa, and I'm like, this is a game that's going to be fun either way. Because as I mentioned pregame, Bangor is one team that I've only got an opportunity to watch on TV. It's usually on Fox Sports Wisconsin when they were down at State. And usually Bangor always ends up playing Edgar or Blackhawk or one of those kind of the usual powerhouses you see in Division 7. So it's nice to come see, especially Bangor being one of the southern teams in the state. It's nice to see them locally up here in the area. And obviously a fun game to watch. Number 1 team in Division 7. Spencer Columbus, they played some good opponents. They're trying to find their identity. They lost a lot of offensive weapons from last year, but they're still a really solid team in the CWC, one of the tougher Division 5, Division 6 conferences we have in the state of Wisconsin. So Spencer Columbus 1st and 10 at their own 43-yard line as Bennington goes in motion. The misdirection play to Adler is stuffed behind the line. That was number 33, Dawson Danes, there on the stop. And Coach Gorst will call timeout for his Rockets team. Coach Jason Gorst, the father of senior running back Will Gorst. Will Gorst, a senior this year. So 15 seconds left here. And it's been a long, I believe Spencer Columbus took over at about 48 seconds left. It's been a long 48 seconds.
Yes, it has. Especially when everything feels longer when you're out in the cold. So,
and you look at the game, and we're just before 8 o'clock. It's actually been a decently paced game so far.
Lots of potent running attacks. So, yeah, it keeps the game moving until the end of the half here. But
we came into this possession not knowing what Coach Gorst maybe intended to do. Maybe even take one running play and go into the half, knowing that you have the ball. But I think realizing that Bangor's driving here and they're not going to go away, I think he maybe will take his chance on a quick strike to extend that lead. As Adler goes in motion, Timmer will then roll out. It's a play action pass. Oh, intended to Bennington, but incomplete. That will bring up 2nd down for the Rockets. I should say 3rd down, 3rd and 12. 11 seconds here. We'll see if Timler goes back to pass on this next play. Or maybe we see Bennington or Gorst or Adler take a carry and maybe run out the half.
After seeing what Bangor did to their defense just, a minute ago of game time, you probably don't want to give them time for any sort of play. So regardless of what happens here, they want to make this and the next play their last 2 plays.
And I would completely agree. As middle up the middle for Gorst, and that is nothing there. And I think Coach Jason Gorst is probably going to let the clock run out as he does, and that will be the end of the first half. So we're going to take a little bit of a break. We come back. We will see if we will get some of the Spencer Columbus homecoming festivities for you, as well as try to get some of our thoughts on the game and some local scores from the area. So we'll be right back. Stay with us, and we will have your halftime show for you.
Hi, this is Jason Miller from US Cellular and Northside Computers. We're currently celebrating our 25th year of doing business here in Marshfield. All the money that has been spent here is spent at other establishments that we do business with. We employ local people. We've sponsored numerous North Youth Apprenticeship programs and sponsored sporting events and other things of that nature. Of all the places you could purchase a cell phone or a computer from, we want to thank you for doing business with us.
Representing the junior class, Andrew Shear, son of Chad and Tiffany Shear, escorting Myra Corby, daughter of Camille Corby and Rana Nasser. Representing the senior class, Aiden Casperson, son of Cody and Stacy Casperson, escorting Diane Jacob, daughter of Justin and Michelle Van Meter. Jane Adler, son of Davison and Keisha Adler, escorting Bailey Anderson, daughter of Michael and Crystal Anderson. Mr. Adler is standing in for his son. Master of Ceremonies, Timber, son of Jeff and Tammy Timber, escorting Mistress of Ceremonies, Dorsey Walker, daughter of Rodney and Jackie Walker. Mr. Timber is standing in for his son. The 2021 homecoming king, Joseph Nider, son of Joe and Corey Nider, escorting 2021 homecoming queen, Maya Kuhn, daughter of John and Janelle. Representing Thomas Catholic High School homecoming for children of the senior class winner, we dance tomorrow evening from 8 till 11. Please accept their invitation for information at 9:30 p.m. on the $4. This year's song is The Myers. And here is the 2021 Spencer High School homecoming court. Tamara Blue, escorted by Bradley Dunbar. Emily Wheelan, escorted by Joseph Justman. Jory Meyer, escorted by Noah Schultz. Evan Kind, escorted by Carson Schmidt. recorded by Chase Woods. Show your appreciation for these students. The homecoming course of Columbus High School and Spencer High School. We want to thank Milk for Athletes for supplying chocolate milk for players and coaches after tonight's game. This program has supplied chocolate milk for many games in central Wisconsin over the last 3 years. Milk for Athletes, a program of fellowship of Christian athletes, is blessed by sponsors who want to support local high school athletics and the dairy industry. Milk for Athletes would not be possible without the charitable donations of our sponsors. They include Maple Ridge Dairy, Lynn Brothers, A&B Process Systems, Zion Lutheran Church of Stratford, TP Printing, Resource Recovery, Mill Church, and Stratford Family Foods.
I'm former professional football player Bill Ferrario, and I had a career protecting quarterbacks in Green Bay and Madison. Now, when I need protection, I turn to the professionals at Marshfield Insurance. They help protect my home, auto, and business from disaster. With over 30 A-rated insurance companies to choose from and 24 agents, they're conditioned to give you great coverage at great rates. Plus, I keep them in tip-top shape. Let's go, premium boy.
It's really necessary.
No, but it sure is fun.
How do you know your business is properly insured? Clinner Insurance Agents are your focused local insurance experts for commercial insurance. At Clinner Insurance, protecting your business is our top priority.
Clinner Insurance.
You don't have to postpone feeling your best. Aspirus has all the right protective measures in place, so there's no need to delay important screenings and procedures. Visit aspirus.org to schedule today. Because we love, we lead. Aspirus.
Hi, I'm Andrew from Northside Computers, US Cellular, and this is where I would put my iPhone 13s. If I could get them. Good news is, you guys still can. Right now, you can join our exclusive pre-sale offer and get $600 off the latest iPhone 13s. They come in 5 new colors, have a standard storage of 128 gigabytes, and right now, they are putting out the best camera system they've ever had to offer. So why don't you come on down to 907 South Central Avenue and get yourself a new iPhone.
All right, welcome back here. Halftime here in Spencer, Wisconsin. Excellent game so far, at least from our perspective. I'm sure everybody else, as viewers, say the same thing.
Um,
16-15, Spencer Columbus holding that 1-point lead over the Bangor Cardinals. Bangor, the number 1 ranked team in Division 7. Any comments or thoughts? Just pop that right into the chat, and let's get a clarification. Thank you, John Mark Peterson, for clarifying that Jason is not Will's dad. I think someone I thought told me he was, so maybe it was just a false source. So, but thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate that. Thoughts on this game so far? I think it's kind of what we expected. I mean, as Bangor is dominant in D7 as they are, they're going up against a team in 2 divisions higher in Spencer Columbus. Now, Spencer Columbus hasn't had that momentum as I think most of us thought. They had that real. I actually thought, keeping tabs on that first half against Amherst last week, I thought the way they were playing, I thought it was just going to kind of hold and they were going to kind of come away with the victory. And then Amherst, I think, defensively just kind of came on strong and just pulled away there late. But I think maybe that gave Spencer Columbus a little bit of fuel, knowing that, hey, we're playing the second-ranked team in Division 5 following week, well, not knowing that they're going to play a makeup game versus the number 1 team in Division 7.
Oh, yeah. I'd imagine they're like, well, we've got out to a hot start before. We can do it again. Just got to sustain it this time.
Absolutely. And homecoming festivities, I think, have concluded here. Of course, every high school does it different. So usually when we're up in Medford, we usually have there's always events that each grade in the high school competes for. Then they have the announcements at halftime, all these events, and usually it's the seniors that win, then the juniors and sophomores and freshmen. So probably the weather kind of affecting how much that they want to get done. But as we finish up halftime, we'll try to get us some local high school updates for you. Currently at halftime over in Marathon, the Colby Hornets lead the Marathon Red Raiders 28-0. We will try to get a Medford Hayward score, as we usually cover the Medford Raiders. So far in Great Northern Conference action, Mosinee over Lakeland 20-6. Mosinee in a lone 2-way tie with the Rhinelander Hodigs. In 8-man football, the number 1 ranked team in 8-man, the Gilman Pirates, up 22-0 over the Bruce Red Raiders. Currently, we don't have an updated score on the Edgar Hurley game, 2 of the top teams in Division 7. In a tough CWC football matchup, Wittenberg-Burnham won 8, Stratford 6 at the half. That might surprise some people a little bit. Even though Wittenberg-Burnham is a good team, I actually kind of, looking at that matchup coming in, I kind of anticipated maybe like a 20-20 or kind of a little bit more high-scoring, close game. than what the halftime score currently is.
I believe they were another team that was up early on Amherst, and Amherst was able to come back and respond. So they're no slouch in the CWC action over there.
And now that Stratford has joined the fold in that conference, it gives them a lot more depth up top. I mean, Shiacton is one of those teams that you don't know what Shiacton team you're going to get. Usually they're a team that can be a top 5, top 10 team. I believe they're Division 5 or Division 6, one of the two. I can't keep, sometimes you lose track by all the drop downs and upgrades that these teams do. But with Stratford, Iola Scandinavia, and Wittenberg Birminwood's got a solid team this year. Spencer Columbus, teams like that. It keeps a lot of Amherst, obviously. That's a solid group. And as I said, more at the half, actually a unique score with the Marshfield Tigers. The Wausau West Warriors 11, Marshfield nothing. I would think that's maybe accurate, according to our source. Wausau West, one of the top teams in the Valley this year, one of the better football teams now they've had in the last several years. Brewers kind of struggling right now against the Cardinals. I know the Cardinals have probably been the hottest team in the MLB, so hopefully the Brewers can get stuff figured out because they do need to close that division out.
You got the Mets tonight. Yep.
Actually, updating the Gilman score, 45-0 just to end the half now. Gilman up over Bruce.
Wow.
As the officials are trying to get both teams ready to go here, I think they just want to kind of get this game going here as it starts to get a little bit colder. Brewers currently up over the Mets 4-1. Cardinals up 8-2 over the Cubs in the mid, but the Cardinals bats are really going right now. That's it was the Reds for a while that the Brewers had to worry about. Now it's the Cardinals. Mm-hmm. Notre Dame, Wisconsin tomorrow. Wisconsin hopefully being able to get a big win. That's what I need to kind of see from Paul Chryst. After losing to that game against Penn State, I think I saw Paul Chryst was 0-5 against both Ohio State and Penn State. So Wisconsin's going to have to start getting some bigger wins. Mondovi leads Neilsville Granton 40-0 at the half.
Well, to start this second half here, I mean, Spencer's going to look to go up for another score, get on top of the first-ranked team in D7 real quick here in the second half and make them play catch-up again. I mean, Bangor did a nice job catching up in the first half, but if Spencer wants to stay ahead, they're going to have to put up some points here on the first drive, I would think.
I think that's kind of what Coach Gorse wanted to do. As good of a team Bangor is, I think being able to take that extra possession lead over a team like that to help kill time. As Adler takes the carry, he's got room in a solid run by Zane Adler all the way up to the 48-yard line. Took a straight shot. A lot of the kickoff team, a lot of the guys in the kickoff team for Bangor just couldn't respond on the near side of the field. As I start to feel a little bit of a cold shiver now as it starts to get colder as this game advances.
That's what you get for going inside in the nice little warmth in there.
I took a break in the booth. Little break before our halftime preview.
Mind you, this is the man that said we are Wisconsinites, we can handle it. So,
well, when it's not as cold as it is, it's the coldest night of the year so far. So got to get used to it. This Bennington in motion, almost a jump off sides on the Bangor Cardinal defensive line. Bennington will go back into motion, and he will get the handoff to the far side. Cuts back. He's still on his feet, and that's a big run off to the far right side. He has some room. He's hauling. Oh, and he's brought down just inside the 5-yard line. Brock Bennington, another huge run. That is about a 54-yard run from Brock Bennington. First and goal for the Rockets, and they're looking to take another lead on this Cardinal team.
He gets past that first line of defense, and we've seen this movie before. He can, once he gets out in the open space, he can scoot.
First and goal at the 4-yard line for Bennington. Unofficially, I would probably say he's over 150 yards in this ball game. I would say this is the coldest night of the year, as I said, so both teams having to adjust now, playing not in the 60, 70 degree weather, but the 40, 45 degree weather. Hand off to Bennington, up the middle. He's in! Touchdown, Rockets! Brock Bennington with his second rushing touchdown of the night puts the Rockets up 22-15. And now, do you go for two or go for one? Go for one with the PAT. That's an 8-point lead, and certainly Bangor could stay, either tie it or go for two and certainly go ahead by 2 possessions.
Traditionally tonight they've been going for the extra point, but it looks like they're huddling up, trying to go for 2 here.
As Neil is correct, and we'll see what the Rockets do here. Convert, go up by 2 possessions. You don't, you stay ahead 1 possession. Brock Bennington to the right side. He's hit hard. The ball popped out and picked up by another Rocket, and it's not going to get into the end zone. So the 2-point conversion is no good. And Spencer Columbus will stay up a touchdown. So we're going to take a quick break alongside with them. We come back. We'll see if Bangor can respond here with 11:35 left of the third quarter. Spencer Columbus 22, Bangor 15.
Nicolet Bank is now offering their Real Rewards Checking. Want your checking account to work for you? Sign up for the Real Rewards Checking and get 3% APY each month on account balances up to $10,000. Terms and conditions apply. Check out nicoletbank.com for more details.
Spencer Columbus with another, well, I should say a very kind of a short drive. It was only about a 3-minute and 25-second possession for the start off the half. As you can imagine, though, Coach Gorse trying to go for it there at the end of the second half, that last possession, trying to get the extra strike and go up even more on this Bangor team and having less time to worry about. Then you can actually play more conservative offensively.
I think you're thinking of the NFL quarters where it's 15 minutes. This is a 12-minute quarter, so that was 25 seconds that went off.
Oh, right.
It's pretty incredible how quick they scored.
I think the cold's getting to me now a little bit.
Hey, I get it. We were just talking about how they need to put up some points quick just to maintain their lead, and that was the way to do it right there.
Oh, and that kick is actually going to go out at the 1-yard line just before the end zone, and that's going to be an illegal procedure on the Rockets. So tough luck there. And Bangor will take over with better field possession than anticipated. Smart job. I believe that was Tanner Jones that just kind of let it go. Mm-hmm. So doing a nice job, just not even just taking it at the 1 and then maybe even getting a possession at maybe the 10, 15-yard line, but going 1st and 10 at the 40. I should say 1st and 10 at the 35 because our official scoreboard's wrong. Handoff out the middle to Jones. Jones bullying his way up to about the 44-yard line. So a 9-yard run will bring up 2nd and 1. Tanner Jones doing a lot of work tonight. There's a quick rocket will come off the field. (22-16) Spencer Columbus. I think I saw a prediction on Wiz Sports. I think Bangor was predicted to win this game, according to them, as Trent Jones spins again. He's got room to take off. Oh, he's still on his feet, not quite tripped up, and he's in the end zone for the Bangor touchdown. 64-yard run for Tanner Jones. And Bangor has a chance to tie or take the lead. He pretty much spun. The first spin was to avoid a guy, then spun again thinking that there was maybe another quick guy behind him. Momentum carrying, and he just exploded.
That's incredible. When he was running full speed, he got his legs tangled up, and he was still able to maintain his speed and carry it into the end zone.
Tanner Jones, I would probably think, has now almost eclipsed the century mark. Rushing, and that extra point is blocked to the right. PAT no good. Spencer Columbus holds the lead. Impressive job for the Rockets special team defensive line right there to keep that 1-point edge. And this ball game continues to be as played as advertised.
Yeah, we're barely a minute into the second half here, and we've had 2 scores already on just big plays by the 2 running backs.
Well, that was kind of similar to what we saw, though, in the start of the game, I should say, because, I mean, Bangor struck early, and then Spencer Columbus struck with Brock Bennington's touchdown. So, and then we kind of had a kind of quieter end of the first quarter into the beginning of the second before Spencer Columbus took a little bit of a momentum edge offensively. So Bangor can keep momentum. That certainly would. But it's kind of hard to see the way Spencer Columbus has been moving the ball. Just their demeanor tonight has been not only on par with Bangor's, but just as higher yet. I just think that they want to kind of come back and get a bigger. Oh, it's kind of bobbled there by Adler, but he picks it up, and he'll be brought down at about the 28-yard line. But as we said before, after coming off a tough loss to Amherst last week, the number 2 team in Division 5, you know, they kind of came into this week thinking, well, we have Nakusa. That should be a game that we know we should have. And then realizing the game is canceled, postponed, and then you pick up the number 1 team in Division 7 for a makeup game. You're coming off 2 of the top teams in the state of Wisconsin back-to-back. So Spencer Columbus 1st and 10 now. As Bennington goes in motion, the handoff to Gorslow up the middle. Gets a couple, and he hits that front 7 of the Cardinal defense and is brought down. Maybe a yard for Will Gorst on the carry. 2nd and 9.
I was just going to say, I mean, Brock Bennington has been great, but he cannot carry you to a win if everybody's keying on him and trying to make sure he does not get past the line of scrimmage. So somebody else is going to have to produce here. We've seen Gorst get a couple good carries and a touchdown pass, I believe, or run.
He did have the touchdown run.
Run, yep.
And Adler has a couple carries too, but as you said, they need to find the consistency though alongside him, and that's going to be, it will be offsides on the Bangor jump on the defensive end.
It's one way to gain yards, yep.
It's always good to keep composure. You see in the NFL when one side jumps, whether it's the defense, the offense is going to kind of go up right away to kind of ensue to make sure that it's encroachment on the defense. It's always one of those tougher though plays because there could be guys on both sides that go simultaneously, and it's either up to a false start or encroachment. So it's one of those calls that's just kind of up to the officials. So 2nd and 4 at the 34. Bennington in motion to the far side. Hands up, cuts back middle, just gets across the 35-yard line and is tripped up. So that's going to bring up 3rd down. 9.5 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. 3rd and 2 for this Rocket offense. Bangor gets a stop here. That could be an interesting decision then for Coach Gorst, what he'd do on 4th down. You're obviously in your own territory, but do you go for it or punt and just kind of rely on your defense to kind of, keep doing what they've been doing? In motion. Bennington to the left side. Easily finds his way for a 1st down and is pushed out of bounds at about the 40. First down for the Spencer Columbus Rockets. Brock Bennington has been a handful for this Bangor defense tonight. The senior looking to get to garner all conference honors at that running back spot, especially first team in a tough conference, as we said, that mostly gets the attention of Stratford, Amherst, and Iowa Scandinavia. As Adler goes in motion to the far side, right side cuts back up middle, and is brought down from behind. I can't tell if that's number 10 or 40. If it's number 10, that's Jones on the tackle, but if it's number 40, that's Cody Peterson. And it'll be 2nd and 5 for the Rockets here. In motion, Bennington. Back again. Out the middle to Gorst. Breaks one tackle. He spins and is brought down just short of midfield. That's going to be awfully close to a first down. And they're going to mark him just short, and that's going to bring up 3rd and inches. 7.5 now remaining. Kind of similar to what we saw in the first quarter, though. Just kind of, a couple possessions that kind of broke open, and then just kind of one team and then the other maybe just kind of working the field a bit. 3rd and inches, another 3rd down opportunity for the Bangor defense to get a stop. In motion, Bennington, and he will get the carry. He's past the first down mark and more, and is finally tackled at the Bangor 45-yard line. So Bangor territory now for the Rockets.
With this scheme, when they bring that running back around, he's already got 3-4 guys in front of him that are blocking. It's more like it turns into like a power offense when you bring the running back around from the other side.
If I'm not mistaken, and anybody in our chat can correct me, but I believe it's Coach Eric Custer that calls the plays for the Rockets. Former Auburndale coach and Stratford graduate, was on those Stratford State teams back in the mid to late 2000s. Bennington in motion will get the carry left side. Evades another guy, and he's tripped up. That's a very big tackle by number 24 for Bangor. That's Gunnar Ellenberg, because if he misses that tackle, there's an extra at least 10-15 yards for Bennington and possibly more. So 2nd down, 2nd and 5 to be exact for the Rockets. Basically, your I formation flex motion for the Rockets. And Timmer with the keeper. I think it was a botched play, and he's brought down by Tanner Jones behind the line. That's actually a huge loss for the Rockets. They're brought back into their own territory, and that's going to bring up 3rd and long.
Going to give him forward progress
at
the 45.
You're right. So I was going to say they gave him forward progress on that, so the ball will be placed at the 46 of Bangor. But it'll be 3rd and 10, so a longer 3rd down opportunity. This is the third down opportunity for the Rockets on this drive. They've had the ball now for at least 6 minutes. And being up by 1, I think that certainly works to Coach Gorst's advantage. Left side, Bennington in motion. He gets it. He finds room again. He's so quick and shifty on that left side. He's pushed out of bounds near the 34-yard line. And that's going to be a first down. That's a huge 3rd down opportunity on 3rd and 10.
When Bennington gets the ball, it's that same play over and over. That's modified sweep play.
I heard a bunch of coaches yelling on the Bangor sideline. I couldn't tell if that was Coach Grant himself or either assistant coach Josh Chaplin or Mark Kropp. But I think that was, they had him where they wanted and just couldn't convert defensively. And now Spencer Columbus nearing their own red zone. 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line. As Adler goes in motion with the carry up middle to Gorst. Bullies his way through for about 5 yards. And that'll bring up 2nd down. Will Gorst has been pretty solid, though. Usually, though, if it's not Bennington or Adler going in motion, Gorst is going to get that carry up the middle. And with his size, Gorst is at about 200 pounds. That certainly is going to make it tough for any front seven to kind of handle. And it's not just, with him being 200 pounds, he's also strong. He's a tough back to bring down. And there's another encroachment on the Cardinals. Yep, and it will be on Bangor again. That's their second encroachment on this drive. So the Spencer Columbus offense, especially that front seven, the offensive line, they're doing a great job staying composed, working with Timler on the snap count, and doing a good job of gaining those extra yardage. 2nd and 1 now for the Rockets. In motion to Bennington on the right side, but no, it's up the middle to Gorst. And that'll be a first down for the Rockets.
They're short runs, so they might not seem as successful as other runs, obviously, but what those are doing are just keeping the defense on their heels, because every single fake that the quarterback does needs to be moving the defense. So if he's faking to Gorst and they're not using him, then those fakes don't really do anything. So that's just keeping that option open.
Yep. Great job by Coach Gorst to be strategic in that aspect, though, with his team. Has those players to really utilize that. Hand off to Bennington on the right side. He's trying to be brought down from behind. And then finally a slew of Cardinal defenders then converge on him. So that'll bring up 2nd down. Two yards officially on that run for Bennington. So 2nd and 8. As we are nearing the 3rd minute mark of the 3rd quarter. Quarter has now gone fast since that Bangor touchdown. As Spencer Columbus has now had about an 8-minute drive going on, which would work, as I said, perfectly for Coach Gorst as they held the 1-point lead, run the clock, and maybe even try to get the score here in this drive to extend. Up the middle to Will Gorst. He's still moving. He's still on his feet. Breaks a few tackles and is finally brought down. That'll be another first down for the Rockets. Tanner Jones on the tackle for the Cardinals. Tanner Jones making that impact both offensively and defensively for Bangor. So 1st and goal, ball at the 9-yard line. More than likely we'll see Bennington or Gorst or even Adler with this touchdown. Handoff is to Bennington on the right side. Finds some room, and he's going to be brought down inside the 5. So 2nd and 3 at the 3-yard line. Handoff up the right side. And that'll be short.
Bennington again on the carry. No gain on that one, though.
Couple nice stops there for the Bangor defense. They really haven't been able to kind of hold Bennington really for anything less than 4 or 5 yards a carry. It's been Bennington exploding most of the night.
They've done a nice job early in this half, kind of keying on him outside of that one run, but...
So 3rd down. It's about the 4th or 5th 3rd down opportunity for the Rockets. The Rockets being able to convert on all of them. Bennington with the handoff on the right side. We're going to get the official motion. Nothing yet.
4th?
And they're going to, yep, they're going to mark him short. So it's going to be about 4th and goal. I would say it's got to be at the 1.
Yeah, the near side referee is standing inside the 1. It is right on that goal line. So
especially at our angle, it's a little bit tougher to judge from being this diagonally. But, of course, no reason why the Rockets won't go for it. 25 seconds left of the third quarter. In motion is Bennington. He'll get that handoff. Oh, and he's hit. He might be short. What a stop by the Bangor defense. That is a huge fourth down opportunity, as this was the first time Spencer Columbus didn't convert on third down. Make a stop on third down, then make that extra stop on fourth down. That's a huge play by the Bangor defense. But now you're at your own 1 yard line, so they got to be careful right here, as Spencer Columbus can easily make that stop and go in their favor.
Yep. Well, Jones doesn't like to take no for an answer. He likes to get positive yards, so I think he'd be a go-to right here. I'm surprised Spencer didn't go with Gorst there. I mean, it's a short yardage situation. You need your big back in there. So
I think you make a good point. The way Bennington's been running, I think it can go either way. Handoff up the middle, maybe a few yards. Oh,
fumble?
The ball's it's fumbled. Spencer Columbus gets it back. Wow. I couldn't tell if that was Tanner Jones himself on the carry or if that was Kropp. But that's just a killer play. And now you're going to set up maybe a touchdown right here for the Rockets.
Momentum swings are at extremes right now with a 4th and goal stop at the 1 yard line and now a fumble on the 1 yard line.
We've seen some pretty big time game changing plays that really are just really excite you though. It's been an exciting game, exciting quarter. Yep. It's been everything we all hope for. In motion, hand up to Gorst up the middle. The officials are going to mark him, I think, short. So that'll bring up 2nd and goal.
It'll be the end of the quarter here.
As Neil stated, that will be the end of the third quarter. Very interesting last drive. But we will go into a break with Spencer Columbus up by 1. Spencer Columbus 22, Bangor 21. Stay with us for the final quarter. We're in the last quarters. Spencer Columbus 22, Bangor 21. They will look to score on this play. It's 2nd and goal. Ball will be placed at the 2 yard line.
Positives of going to the other end of the field, you get to warm up a bit. I mean, not that these kids aren't running around already and aren't already warm.
It's right after Bangor made that beautiful stop defensively on both 3rd and 4th down, and we're saying, well, you got to be careful because you're at your own 1 yard line. And anything can happen where you can maybe see a safety. And as we saw there, a fumble right at your own. I think it was Jones that had the carry, and I think he did fumble at about the 4 yard line because there was no advancement on the fumble recovery.
Yep. We saw that earlier in this game when they had troubles hanging onto the ball, but then it was wetness. Now it might be more cold than anything, trying to hold on to it.
In motion is Bennington, and he will get the handoff. Look to inside the middle. Touchdown, Rockets. Points off turnovers going to the Rockets there, as Brock Bennington will rush in for his 3rd touchdown of the evening. And the Rockets will now take a 7-point lead. And do they do the same thing as they do before? Go for 2 to take the 2-possession lead?
I think you have to, yeah.
Because you never know, because Bangor could easily... As Bangor is, they're always an offensively dominant running team, so they can easily, make up for that fumble they just had and Jones or Mishek can easily come back down and march for another touchdown. So, yeah, like you said, you got to go for 2 as they are. As Bennington comes into motion. Carries it. Oh, he trips a bit. That hurt him, and he will come up short. The 2-point conversion is no good. Tripped a little bit as he cut back toward the middle. And Spencer Columbus will stay at a 7-point lead. So we'll take a quick break alongside with them. We will come back to see if Bangor can respond with 11:57 left of the fourth quarter. Spencer Columbus 28, Bangor 21.
How do you know your business is properly insured? Clinner Insurance Agents are your focused local insurance experts for commercial insurance. At Clinner Insurance, protecting your business is our top priority.
Clinner Insurance.
Spencer Columbus holding on to this 7-point lead here at the beginning of the fourth quarter. As we see, can't really see now as it's darker as much, but Spencer putting brand new field lights here. As the old ones are still in progress, but they've got the new, I'm not sure if it's metal or aluminum, that are upright. They're just not ready for power yet.
A welcome addition to our streams once they get up and running.
Absolutely. Spencer doing a lot of additions here on their athletic complex. The new dome is, I think, ready. As Bennington will now kick off for the Rockets. Squib kick up the middle. Picked up by number 29 for the Cardinals. Mason Bueller was there. It slipped past him into the hands of number 2, Nolan Mishek. If any Bangor fans or spectators are out there and you'd like to drop the comment in the stream chat below. Not sure if Ashton or Nolan are cousins or brothers, but if anybody has that answer, feel free to drop that. Also, let us know where you're watching from, and we'll give you a quick shout-out. And now the Cardinals offense will go to work. Handoff up the middle to Tanner Jones. Hurdles a guy just at the line of scrimmage and then is brought down at about the 35-yard line. So 2nd and 9, or I should say 2nd and 8. They'll give him the extra yard at the 35. Really damp out right now. Some of the paperwork that we have is
it's a little soggy, huh?
A little soggy. Toss to the right side to Jones. He will work the cut back, spinning. He is just doing his best to stay on his 2 feet and will be brought down at about the 40-yard line. So about 5 yards on that carry for Tanner Jones. 3rd and 3 at Bangor's own 40-yard line. And if you're Coach Grant, I mean, you can kind of do the same thing that Coach Gorse did that last drive. Kind of kill some time a little bit because you're only down a touchdown. You don't have that sense of urgency just yet. You have the whole quarter. But just move the ball with Jones, with Kropp. Mishek can do his thing too. Toss left to the left side to Jones again. He'll cut back. Pushes his way past the first down marker. And we have a new set of downs for the Cardinals. So about a 5-yard run for Jones will get him to the first down. Clock keeps running. And I think that's kind of what Coach Grant's strategy is. Just kind of duplicate what Coach Gorst had. Just kind of keep it, I mean, not as much sense of urgency just yet. Keep the guys calm. I mean, there's plenty of ball game left. This is a close game.
Well, you've got your workhorse in Jones. I mean, you can either work it down the field or he could break one at any point. So.
Yep. Oh, the misdirection to the left side. That's Kropp. Oh, he broke again. Here he goes. And Samuel Kropp is finally brought down at about the 15-yard line. That's about a 30-yard run for Samuel Kropp. Misdirection play. One of those plays that's tough for any defense to stop. And that's actually a 29-yard run officially for Samuel Kropp, the sophomore running back. So that's kind of what Bangor needs, another weapon alongside Jones to make an impact.
Yep, that's something we've been asking for out of Spencer, and we just got it out of Bangor.
So Jones will get it to the right side, cuts back, and he's still on his feet, and he's finally brought down hard at about the 10-yard line as we are now past the 10-minute mark in this ball game.
Jones has taken some hits today. I mean, he's gotten through that first line effectively, and then at points he's just gotten lit up by the second wave of Rocket defenders.
I like to see the official stat between Jones and Bennington's combined rushing yards right now, but I would probably assume it's right around the 300-yard mark, which is pretty impressive. We got an awesome display of two very talented running backs that we get to have for you guys tonight. So 2nd and 5 yards on that Jones carry. Ball is at the 11-yard line of the Rockets. Crop on that carry, and he is going absolutely nowhere but behind a slew of Rockets on there. I saw Bennington on that tackle. I think Gorst was on that tackle as well. So a loss of 2 for Crop, and that'll bring up 3rd and 7. So a key 3rd down now for the Bangor offense. Likewise for the Rocket defense, this could be one of the determining plays of tonight's game.
You most certainly have 2 downs to get this first down, but I don't know if they're going to go for a field goal here.
Toss left to Jones. Oh, it's play action, but the pass, and it's incomplete, and the flags are thrown, and that looks to be a pass interference. That was it caught me. I actually thought Jones had it on the left side, and Mishek went for that play action. I couldn't tell if that was McDonald on the intended reception, but there were 2 or 3 Rockets in the secondary that responded, but I think they tripped McDonald just as the ball just got to him.
Yep. He almost made that catch while he was being tackled at the ankles by that Spencer defender.
He actually went over his shoulder, kind of like how you see Rodgers and Devontae Adams go to work inside their 10-yard line when they kind of work those plays. So definitely a pass interference on the Rockets here. A hard, something that Coach Gorst does not want to see. And now you're going to see a first down. They're going to still mark a third and 1 now, officially on our official scoreboard. Ball at the 8-yard line. Handoff out the middle. Jones. Gets the first down. Just waiting to see what official yard line that they're marked at. So it'll be 1st and goal at the 2. So Bangor, 1st and goal at the 2-yard line. Mishek the handoff up the middle. Tanner Jones in the end zone. Touchdown, Bangor. Tanner Jones has multiple touchdowns this game. If I'm not mistaken, that's his 3rd touchdown of the game.
Looks like they might go for 2 here.
So Bangor looking to extend their opportunity to take the lead for the first time since that Spencer Columbus tied it 7-7. Bangor has not led since they were up 7-0. The Bangor crowd trying to get their team going. Handoff up the middle. 2-point conversion is waiting for the official call from the side judge. No good! What a stop by the Rocket defense! Huge stop by the Rocket defense. And the Rockets will again maintain that 1-point lead, just like that last possession that Bangor scored on.
This the ability to score touchdowns but not 2-point conversions brings a new meaning to bend don't break here for defenses.
Man.
It's been repeatedly that they haven't been able to convert these 2-point conversions.
These last 2 or 3 drives now, the game does not want to go beyond a 1-point lead.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been an awesome game. Both sides, both teams, it has been a fun game to watch. Whether or not Bangor would have went up, it's just an amazing play. I mean, it's been, offensively, you see Brock Bennington, Gorst on the Rocket side, and of course you've seen Jones and Mishek on the Bangor side, but you got playmakers on both sides, and when you have players like that that make those impact plays, you don't know what you're going to get because anybody can make those plays. And we've seen it tonight from Bennington, from Jones. It's been just back and forth, back and forth. And when there have been plays that have been counted, it hasn't gone for those teams.
We've been talking about big plays and momentum all night, but momentum is built obviously by scoring touchdowns, but then when you don't get that extra point or 2 points, I don't know. I think it hypes the defense up for sure when they're stopping them. So
I mean, it's part of the game, but it's also just the amount of times we've seen it tonight. I think 2 or 3 times by both Spencer Columbus and Bangor, but there's still plenty of time for Bangor to get that ball back and get this lead. Squib kick up the middle, and Will Gorst will fall on it. So Spencer Columbus will go back to work here offensively. As you get down to this midpoint of the game now, so I mean, Bangor will have a little more sense of urgency. I mean, there's still time to respond defensively. Coach Gorst will probably go a little bit more conservative now. So 1st and 10, Spencer Columbus will work at their own 33-yard line. Bangor can get some stops on Bennington and Gorst. The field could be open for him. Handoff up the middle to Gorst, a few yards, and he's finally brought down. Second down, and we'll see where the ball is officially marked at. So a 1-yard carry for Gorst will bring up 2nd and 9 at the 34. Basically kind of just time management now. Spencer Columbus working at this moment. Bennington back in motion on the near side. Will go back, and I would assume he'll go back in the motion as he does, and he'll get the carry to the left side. Still on his feet, and is brought down after a couple yards. So 3rd down. Big opportunity now for the Bangor defense. Get the stop on 3rd down, and you're in a position I still think that, I guess if you're Coach Gorst, you would probably have to punt if you don't get this 1st down. So 3rd and 6, a 3-yard run from Bennington. 6:45 and counting left here in the 4th quarter. Crowd getting fired up on that far side. Hand out to Bennington on the right side. Oh, he's tripped up at the line of scrimmage. A huge stop for the Bangor defense, and that'll bring it up 4th down. I think they anticipated that was going to be Bennington's carry, and I think they kind of try to control the inside there.
He's been getting the ball all night on 3rd down, so it wasn't really a surprise, but sending in a couple substitutions here. Could be gearing up to punt.
So officially that's no gain on that carry. And I think, if you are Coach Gorst, you have to punt here.
Yep.
It's just, it's being at the 37-yard line, that's still too tough of a spot. And your defense has made some good plays, especially forcing that fumble on Bangor at their own 4-yard line.
High snap.
Yep, high snap for Bennington. He keeps it. He's still on his feet to the right side. Oh, he's hit hard. 1st down, Rockets. A huge 4th down opportunity after the botched snap. Bennington kept it, got the 1st down. That is a huge play for Coach Gorst's Rockets.
He got popped right at the 1st down marker, but he was able to keep his balance enough to fall forward and get that 1st down. Made something out of nothing there.
That speed and agility, it's something you can't teach, and it's something that's hard to stop, especially at this level right here. And that's one of the big reasons that really propelled him to that 1st down, as Bennington himself will go into motion, going to the far side, cuts back up middle, meets a few Bangor Cardinal defenders, and he'll be lucky if he got a yard there. That's the stop that the Cardinals needed that last play. as we now approach the 5-minute mark here in the fourth quarter. So now Bangor with a little more sense of urgency. Each team both still has all 3 timeouts yet. As you can see, a little bit of fog now rolling in the on your screen. Oh, and a couple Spencer Rockets jumped, and that's going to be a false start. So that'll move the Rockets back another 5 yards. Clock stops at 4:29. 2nd and 14 now for the Rockets. Kind of think it's kind of funny on our camera. There's a little bit of fog, but out here actually with the game there's really nothing there. But it could be, from the rain we had before too, creating that effect. 2nd and 14. The crowd really getting into it now, louder than it's been all night. Hand off the right side to Bennington. Evades one guy. He's still on his feet. He's finally tripped up just past midfield. It's going to be 3rd down. What's up?
He had one man to beat there.
Exactly.
If you got past him, he would have been going for a while.
I think he actually he kind of got tripped up on his own before he finally got finished off there. So 3rd and 3 now.
They have bled this clock down to almost 3.5 minutes here.
Coach Gorse's clock management has been brilliant on this drive. So they're at the Bangor 49-yard line. 3rd and 3. Bennington will get, that's Bennington, and he's going to come up short. He got tripped up at midfield. He might have lost a yard. And that's going to bring up 4th down. So if you're Coach Gorst, you got to decide, go for it, which he probably will do. Or, you could punt it and put them in tough territory in their far end zone and then, hope that Jones doesn't explode for a big play.
He might wait until the play clock runs out and take a timeout here. Yep.
And that's probably what he's going to do. So Coach Gorst just waiting for the last few seconds on the play clock before he calls timeout. As we approach 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And we see the timeout from Coach Gorst. So we'll take a quick break alongside with these two teams with 2:37 left in the fourth quarter of this brilliantly makeup game between the Spencer Columbus Rockets and the Bangor Cardinals. Spencer 28, Bangor 27. Stay with us for the finish. Big play now for the Bangor defense. 4th and 4. They need a stop. The Rockets convert here on 4th down. Todd Grant, coach for the Bangor Cardinals, is going to start using timeouts. And we'll start to see desperation mode for the Cardinals. Snap. Right side to Adler. Finds room. Bennington. And he's going to be marked short. That's going to be a turnover on downs for the Rockets, about 2 to 3 yards on that carry. Yep. I thought the official just motioned for the chain as there's a Rocket down on the field.
Yeah, big play here. You don't want to take any chances with where the spot is. Just
now Bangor, the Bangor sideline plus their fans motion as if it was short. But as you said, the officials got to make sure that
got Will Gorst down. That'd be a big loss for even the Rocket defense if they had to go on defense here too.
Yeah, that's something that the Rockets can't afford with him being out.
Yep.
He's such an impact player on both sides of the field, one of your seniors.
He's making his way off the field now, so.
So the confirmation on the chain game here will indeed confirm that the Rockets are short. Bangor will take over with 2 minutes and 31 seconds left. So 1 point deficit for the Cardinals. They have 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Now they have all their timeouts yet. Both teams do. So this could get interesting though, Neil.
Well, when we've seen Bangor score, it's been largely big plays, and it's been in a hurry. So if they score here in a hurry, I mean, you don't want to give Spencer too much time to get back on offense and make something happen. But
in decent field position, being at their own 47-yard line, they don't have the whole field to work for if you're a team just starting inside your own 20. So let's see how long Will Gorst stays out for. Toss right to Jones. Jones will cut back middle, hit by a few Rockets, and he's down. Oh, the ball is out! They're saying it's down, though. The Rocket fan base and the Rocket team, they want to say it's a fumble, but the officials are motioning it's down, and they quickly motion for the clock to keep going. .210 and counting. 2nd and 7 now at midfield for the Cardinals. As we approach the 2-minute mark, handoff to Jones. Crop. Crop is doing everything he can to stay on his feet. He's going to be short, and they're saying a fumble again. Fumble! Rockets ball! My goodness! Wow!
Play after play, they have been going after that ball.
1:50 left in the fourth quarter, and we just saw what was almost a fumble the last play the officials marked down, and a fumble after the next play results in a turnover on the Cardinals. Another huge game-changing play. Now it's going to be desperation mode for the Cardinals. They either need the ball back or to get a stop, because now you're going to start seeing some timeouts called by Coach Grant. That is an unbelievable play we just saw. Hand off at the middle to Bennington. Gets a couple yards on that as we see Coach Grant for the Cardinals will call timeout. We'll keep this one here quick. So 1:43 left of the fourth quarter. Spencer Columbus clinging on to that 28-27 lead. And Neil, we've seen Bangor probably have maybe 2 or 3 opportunities to actually take the lead in this one, and turnovers became the pit of their misery.
Yeah, absolutely. And it hasn't only been the turnovers that they lost. They've fumbled the ball 5 or 6 times, but luckily the refs have called them down, so it's been helpful in that aspect. But for Spencer, just being opportunistic on defense and being able to take advantage of loose handling by the Bangor running backs, and also going in and having the awareness to go strip the ball. It's been huge.
Yep, and and it's I know coaches always clarify this all the time though, but you always, even as a basketball coach for me, and I always say if we're in late game situations and we're up by maybe 6 or 7 points, and it's like take care of the ball. That's like your main priority every time. And I know you have the elements going against you with Mother Nature, but those are the plays you just have to convert on. As you see Adler go in motion. Now Bennington will come in motion from the other side. Gets the handoff and goes middle. Not much there. That'll bring up 3rd down and another timeout from Coach Grant as we see There's a flag right there. We're going to see an unsportsmanlike conduct. I thought there was an injury. There was a couple guys that were stand down. But let's see who it's actually on. Maybe it's a warning. Maybe it's actually a penalty. But like you said, I think in the first half we had that warning on the other sideline.
Mm-hmm. They just explained the penalty to Coach Gorst, and Bennington did not like the call, so I'd imagine they're going to call something against him. What does the bird mean? What?
I was trying to figure that out myself. I mean, I think it's an unsportsmanlike conduct, which will go against the Rockets here. But I guess I didn't understand the hand signal for that.
I've understood, like, giving someone the bird, but I've never understood flapping your wings like a bird and that being a penalty. But
shout out to the official, though, for
right.
The Joey Crawford of the high school football level.
It's an interesting spot to call that penalty. I mean, there hasn't been a whole lot of jostling back and forth this whole game, so there's been no precedent for it. But to call that penalty here with just over a minute and a half left is
now
crazy.
If the Rockets were down one, that would have just been a killer, though.
Oh,
but now you still can hold that 1 point lead and still consume some time. But now it's 3rd and 18. And Coach Grant still has one more timeout. There's 1:28 left. Now, it's not a lot of time, but at the same time, it's also time that Bangor, as solid of a team they are, can actually do some damage if they get the ball back.
Yep. And we do see Gorst is back in, so that's a good sign.
That certainly helps the Rockets out here if they need to convert here. Now, 3rd and 18. We've seen them convert 3rd and 10, I think twice tonight with Bennington. So anything can happen here. Otherwise, hey, 4th down. They're going to coach. I would assume more than likely Coach Grant will call his final timeout after this play. No 1st down. I would assume Coach Gorst will maybe punt. And it gives very limited time for Coach Grant's offense to then work. But that all happens unless the defense can convert for the Cardinals. As Bennington goes in motion, we'll get the handoff on the far side, but he's hit at the line of scrimmage. And that's a big play for the Bangor defense as Coach Grant will use his 3rd and final timeout for Bangor. So 1 minute and 32 seconds remains in this big non-conference matchup that has been good as advertised, I could probably say.
Mm-hmm. The scoreboard is still showing that Bangor has one timeout. I don't know if that penalty allowed them to not have to take a timeout.
I think so.
Stop the clock.
I think so.
That's a double whammy then.
But
not
the
only
thing is,
did you lose
the
15 yards.
the clock did resume, though, after the penalty, I thought.
I don't think so. Otherwise, he probably would have called his timeout. I would
you know, it's like, so I'm so used to the college level because I watch so much college football that I always forget that they have those little nicks in there that adjust that. But you are right. It's because of the penalty that Bangor wasn't allowed to use that final timeout, or was it? Didn't need to.
Have to. Yeah. Yep.
So that penalty actually, while we didn't, at the same time, I think we didn't think it was going to hurt Spencer Columbus that much, considering they can still burn clock. Not giving Bangor that final timeout really was the kind of the impact on that play.
Absolutely.
So that'll force the Rockets to punt here, unless we see a botch snap, and we'll see Bennington
take off again,
go far near side and take off and convert. But Bennington's back to punt. Jones back to return for the Cardinals. High snap to Bennington. He gets it and will punt this one away. Solid punt. Jones will get it just by about the 16-yard line, takes it, and will run out of bounds at about the 26-yard line. So Bangor will take over here with 1 minute and 23 seconds left. 1st and 10, down by 1. But ball security has been an issue for the Cardinals as of late. So we'll see if they can take care of the ball, maybe make some big plays. Spencer Columbus, Coach Gorst and staff trying to keep these guys focused. Back to pass for Mishek. He airs it out down the field, trying to find his guy, but overthrows everybody. Pass intended for Crop. That will bring up 2nd and 10.
Yep, and for a quarterback that came in only having 18 pass attempts on the season, you know, he's going to be asked to move the ball through the air here in the final drive of the game for him.
I assume Coach Grant wants to at least save that timeout as most as he can, or as long as he can, as Mishek will roll it to the right side. Looking, can't find a guy. Finally airs it out down the field. Pass incomplete. Pass was intended for, looks like Colton Brizani, the senior tight end. 3rd down. So 1 minute and 10 seconds left in this 4th quarter. As you can see that Coach Gorst is going even more of a prevent defense here. Isaac Moritz back pretty deep for the Rockets in the secondary. Mishek drops back the pass, finds his man. It's caught by number 24, Gunnar Ellenberg, for the first down, and the huddle, no hurry, or hurry up offense into effect as the clock keeps running. They don't want to use their time if they don't have to. Mishek staying calm though, under center. Clock now runs after the chains are set, and he will spike it to stop the clock. Very intense game we have here though. That certainly does beat beating out in the cold any day of the week.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the clock stops at 56 seconds exactly. 2nd and 11 now at the 45. So there's still 55 yards to work for the Cardinals.
That was great clock management there. They knew that the clock stopped to set the chains for the first down, and as soon as they wound the clock, they spiked it. Perfect.
So actually now on the official scoreboard, it's changed that Bangor has no timeouts as Mishek snaps it, rolls to his right. Bennington's coming from behind, throws it downfield. It's caught for a first down. I can't quite tell who it is. It might have been McDonald on the catch. Trying to get the ball. The clock doesn't start until the chains are reset. Clock now goes, and the spike is down for Mishek. So a couple great plays or pass plays now by Mishek to keep this drive going.
Yep, and they've only used 30 seconds, and they've gained probably 40 yards already, so they're making good time. Still going to take quite an effort to score this ball, though.
I think nerves are really coming to kick in for both teams. You know, it's both these teams, especially Bangor, aren't really in the setting where they have to use clock management. Mishek back to pass, airs it out to the left, overshoots his man. That pass is incomplete.
Not the worst thing in the world. You either want an incompletion or a first down here. Just keep moving the ball the way they are.
Samuel Kropp, the intended receiver. And that's a play that the Cardinals will take. Stops the clock at 42 seconds.
Any sort of completion that isn't a first down here would take a good chunk of time off, so want to get it past the sticks here.
3rd and 10 now. Mishek drops back to pass. Half of Spencer's team out on coverage. Pass to the right side, complete for about 5 yards. From our angle, it's tough to tell who got that pass. So 4th down. Four-yard pass, 4th and 6 at the Spencer Columbus 41-yard line, 36 seconds left. Coach Gorst trying to fire up that sideline of his. The home fans getting louder here as well. Bangor trying to fire up their team. It's a full loud stadium we have here in Spencer as Mishek rolls out to his right. Passes low. Incomplete. Spencer's ball game. Turnover on downs for Bangor gives Spencer the chance just to run the clock out and take the upset over the number 1 team in Division 7. 31 seconds lies between the Rockets upsetting the Bangor Cardinals and would give Bangor their first loss of the season. When the plays have counted for that Rocket defense, they have been there.
Yep, from 2-point conversions and that's a huge play right there. They've fumble recoveries. They've done it all.
All Timler has to do is take a knee here, and that should conclude it. He will do that. What a game we saw here tonight. What a game. And the composure that Coach Gore's team had, most of these situations was just unreal. Being able to make big-time plays defensively where it really counted. Because Bangor, you look at the score, Bangor could have easily scored 40 if they wouldn't have turned the ball over in those key situations. The ambulance horn has signaled that this game is over. Spencer Columbus with the upset here tonight on homecoming night. So a big-time upset for the Rockets. And just think, if they would have held on to Amherst last week, that would have been an awesome 2-game stretch for the Rockets.
Regardless, this effort that they gave tonight was one of their best efforts all year. And to pick up 2 wins on the weekend, beating Nakusa by default and now Bangor.
Hey, you could take 2 football wins in 1 week, and that's a win for any team.
Yep.
But no, this was
all-around team effort for him.
This was just an incredible game. One of the better high school games I've seen in a while. You know, you see a lot of these really good teams that they come in and they win as advertised. You know, some of these teams that score 40, 50 points a game and their defenses are good enough to hold teams in the single digits. You know, it's just another game for these teams. But when you have Spencer Columbus, who's always good, but they play good competition. And when teams play good competition, their record might not show it, but bigger schools like that, Spencer Columbus plays the better competition. That works in their favor.
Yep. Regardless, I think both these teams will have something to say in the postseason. Bangor, obviously, an annual team that's competing for a state title, but Spencer, I mean, they've been battle tested all year between the Amhersts and the Bangors that they've played, and Colby, they got shellacked early in the year, but it's a good learning experience, and you've seen it here tonight. It's already paying off a little bit for them.
So you think the 3 losses that the Rockets have are 3 of the better teams in the CWC? That's a huge win, and I think that could give the Rockets some more momentum going into Manawa next week. And then, of course, they've got Stratford in 2 weeks, which is obviously might be their toughest game of the year, not Colby. And then it would have Shiacton, which would be a challenging game as well. Shiacton kind of up and down sometimes, you know, depending on the year, but certainly a game that the Rockets are capable of taking over. But as for Bangor, they kind of have, I think they have Luther next week from what we had stated earlier in this game, and kind of a last 2-game stretch after that they should probably kind of finish out. But you know, I think that'll hurt them. I think, you know, they'll kind of look at this loss as something that, hey, maybe that's a team like them that needed a loss too. You know, talking to people that Colby, you know, about Colby playing Hortonville next week, some Colby fans think that, hey, maybe Colby needs to lose this game to kind of get that wake-up game because they haven't lost, you know, all year.
Yep. And you hear that at all levels of football. I mean, in the NFL, you were hearing about the Patriots when they were going undefeated. You were like, well, maybe it'd be good if they lost one of their last couple games and go into the playoffs with a renewed sense of humbleness and reminder that they can lose. So you saw it here from Bangor tonight. I'd imagine they're going to get better because of this. They played a bigger school, but one that they thought they probably had a chance at beating, and you know, they've got places they can clean up. They didn't have their leading rusher tonight, from what I understand. So, yeah, learning points all the way around.
Yep, and as I was just actually going to state that, you know, Bangor losing by 1 to a very good Rocket team without their leading rusher. I mean, the circumstances could have been different even if he was playing, but I think the Rockets would have made the adjustments even if he was playing, they made the plays count when they needed it the most. And I know Bangor, when Coach Grant, you know, this is Coach Grant's first loss as Bangor's head coach. They're going to look at film and they're going to look at those plays and they're just going to think, you know, it's going to be hard for them to watch because they know that those plays they don't turn the ball over. They turn them into 2 or 3 scores. So turnovers don't win games. As I say as a basketball coach, you got to win games by controlling the turnover numbers as well as the free throw line. All those aspects really do control the tempo and the outcome of those games.
Yep, and for ball handlers, I mean, all week in practice, it was nice weather, dry conditions. It's hard to simulate the wet conditions and cold and rainy that we had tonight. So I wouldn't put too much pressure on Bangor to clean up the turnovers, just because this is a unique situation, one that you haven't dealt with all year and didn't have to deal with in practice this week. So I think they'll come back. They'll be better next week, and they'll go from there.
And as we stated, with it being a makeup game, both these teams didn't really have time to scout each other as much either.
Yep.
So having to kind of make those last minute adjustments.
Yep. Although, I mean, from the first quarter on, you knew where the ball was going. It was going to one of three guys for Spencer usually, and then mainly Brock Bennington, and then same thing for Bangor. Jones was getting the ball every other play. So, you know, scouting on the fly, I guess, it works out regardless. But great job by both teams.
As I said, I think this is one of the best high school games I've seen in a long time. And I've seen a lot of high school games. I've seen some really, really tight Edgar Stratford matchups. I've had the pleasure of seeing some really good Marshall DC Everest matchups. And it's just been I'm going to think of this game for a long time. Just because, I know it's a regular season game. It's not a playoff game, I get that. But two really good teams. And just back and forth like that. It was a joy to call this game with, Neil. And just being out here, braving the cold, it was worth it. It was worth just watching this awesome game.
Hey, we're not even halfway through the year yet. So, I mean, we've got playoffs coming up. We got end of the year a little bit. So there's plenty of good football to come here, especially on Focus Sports. So excited to see what we've got coming up.
Absolutely. And still a few weeks left of this football season yet before we get into playoffs. But otherwise, we got our final thoughts in, I think, for this game.
Absolutely.
And with that being said, I think we'll wrap things up here from Neil and I. So I just want to thank everybody here who was tuned in. Thank you for joining us tonight for an epic football game between the Spencer Columbus Rockets and the Bangor Cardinals. Final score, Spencer Columbus 28. Bangor 27. Spencer Columbus will go into next week versus Manawa. I believe the Bangor Cardinals will go into next week playing Luther. So with that being said, alongside my producer Neil Hodgen, I am Matt Wenzel, and I want to thank everybody for joining in. And appreciate everybody watching through Sports on Focus, and everybody have a great weekend.